What if I told you that worry does not actually exist, that the fear you are feeling about the future is only a trick of the mind? Bobby McFerrin once sang, "Don't worry, be happy." And while it may have sounded like a simple feel-good song, it carries a profound truth that Buddhism has been teaching for centuries. In this video, you will discover why worry is merely an illusion, how the present moment is all you truly need, and how to live with more peace, more lightness, and yes, more happiness. Stay with us. This could change the way you see life. If you find this message meaningful, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more mindful insights and peaceful reflections.
What is worry, according to Buddhism? Buddhism teaches that worry is something everyone experiences. It appears when we lie awake at night, replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, and trying to control a future we cannot predict. We often believe worry is necessary, that it shows we care or are being responsible. But Buddhism sees that belief as the real problem. Worry, in Buddhist teaching, is a form of dukkha, suffering or dissatisfaction. It is self-created pain, born not from what is happening now, but from what might happen later. Worry lives in the future and pulls us away from the present, the only place where life truly happens. The Buddha taught that everything else is imagination. From this view, worry gives a false sense of control, the idea that by thinking and planning enough, we can make life safe. But anicca, or impermanence, reminds us that everything is constantly changing. No matter how much we prepare, life will surprise us. Worry also comes from upadana, or attachment. We cling to people, outcomes, and expectations. The tighter our grip, the greater our fear, and that fear feeds worry. Buddhism does not ask us to stop caring, only to stop clinging, because clinging creates anxiety. The Buddha compared this to being struck by two arrows. The first arrow, life's pain, is real. The second, our mental reaction, is optional. Each time we replay pain or imagine danger, we shoot ourselves again. Mindfulness, or sati, is the key to freedom. By observing our thoughts as passing clouds, we stop identifying with them. We see that worry is not who we are, but something we experience, and anything we can observe, we can release. When worry appears in meditation, simply notice it, name it, breathe, and let it pass. In doing so, you reclaim peace, not by fixing the future, but by returning to the present. According to Buddhism, worry is a habit of the untrained mind, born of fear and attachment. Yet it can be released. The more we train the mind to stay present, the more we realize that this moment, right now, is not only enough, it is all we ever truly have.
The mind's trap: how we create suffering with thoughts. The mind is a storyteller. Every day it spins countless narratives about who we are, what we need, what might happen, and what we should fear. Most of the time, we believe those stories without question. But Buddhism teaches that when the mind is left untrained, it becomes a trap, a source of confusion, fear, and suffering. Worry is one of the clearest examples of this trap. Think about it. No one chooses to worry. It just happens. One thought leads to another, and before we realize it, we are 10 steps ahead, lost in a future that does not even exist, feeling emotions about situations that have not occurred. Buddhism calls this samsara, the endless cycle of suffering caused by craving, aversion, and ignorance. Worry sits right at the center of that cycle. The problem is not that we have thoughts. The real problem is that we identify with them. We believe everything the mind says. If the mind says something bad is going to happen, we tense up. If it says we are not good enough, we shrink. But here is the truth. Thoughts are just thoughts. They are not reality. They are temporary mental events shaped by our past experiences, our conditioning, and our fears. Yet they shape how we experience life itself. In Buddhism, there is a powerful practice called vipassana, or clear seeing. It means looking directly at the nature of our thoughts and emotions. When we practice vipassana, we begin to notice how quickly the mind reacts to discomfort, how it escapes the present moment by running into the past or future. We start to see how thoughts create stories, and those stories create suffering. For example, imagine you are waiting for an important message. An hour passes and there is no reply. The mind begins spinning. Maybe they are upset. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe something bad happened. In reality, nothing has happened. Yet your body reacts as if it has. You feel anxious, restless, and uneasy. All of that came from a single thought. That is the trap. Buddhism teaches that to escape this trap, we do not fight the mind. We observe it. We create space between a thought and our reaction to it. When worry arises, we don't have to follow it. We can simply see it, acknowledge it, and let it pass. That is where freedom begins. The Buddha compared the untrained mind to a wild elephant, powerful but chaotic. Without discipline, it causes destruction. Through meditation, mindfulness, and ethical living, we begin to tame that elephant. We learn to guide the mind instead of being dragged by it. And here is the most beautiful part. When we stop identifying with our thoughts, suffering begins to dissolve. We no longer need to fix every problem, control every outcome, or plan every detail. We only need to be aware, moment by moment. In that awareness, worry loses its power, because it can only survive when we are not paying attention. So yes, the mind can be a trap, but it can also be the path to liberation, if we learn to use it wisely.
Living in the present, the real antidote to anxiety. Take a moment to pause. Close your eyes if you wish, and take a slow, steady breath in and out. That breath is your anchor, the present moment, always here, no matter where your mind wanders. Most of us live distracted. Our bodies may be sitting, walking, or working, but our minds are often miles away, replaying the past, worrying about the future, or imagining what might go wrong. While doing this, we miss what is real, this moment, right now. Buddhism teaches that suffering begins when we leave the present, when we resist what is or wish life were different. Anxiety is a signal that we are living in a future that does not exist, arguing with life before it even happens. Mindfulness is the practice of returning, again and again, to the now. It is not only sitting quietly or meditating. It is fully awake to your life. When you eat, you truly taste. When you walk, you feel each step. When you listen, you fully hear. You do not rush to respond or judge. You simply be. When we begin living this way, the mind softens, the noise quiets, and the tightness in the chest eases. We stop spinning stories about what could go wrong and start noticing the reality of what is. We stop building mountains from small worries and find peace in the present. Being present does not mean life is perfect. It means trusting life, staying with what is instead of fleeing from what might be. And in that presence, clarity emerges. We respond instead of reacting. We see more clearly. We breathe instead of panic. That small space between thought and action is where power and freedom are born.
We do not need to be prisoners of our thoughts. We can train ourselves to return, gently, without guilt or hurry, to the breath, the body, this moment. Because the truth is, happiness lives only here, not in the memory of yesterday or the dream of tomorrow. So the next time your mind starts spinning with what-ifs, pause, place a hand on your chest, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, I am here, I am safe, I am enough. That is the real antidote to anxiety. Not control, not perfection, but presence.
Trusting life, the art of letting go. Letting go sounds simple, but if you have ever tried it, you know it is one of the hardest things to do. Deep down, most of us carry a quiet fear that if we let go, things will fall apart. That if we stop worrying, we will lose control. That if we stop trying so hard, something bad will happen. So we hold tightly to plans, expectations, people, and outcomes, thinking that gripping harder will keep us safe. Buddhism teaches something radically different. The more we hold on, the more we suffer. Trusting life is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about realizing that control was never the answer. All the worrying, overthinking, and desperate planning does not protect us, it exhausts us. Life was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be lived fully, moment by moment. Look at nature for a moment. A tree does not worry when it will lose its leaves. A river does not panic when the current changes. A bird does not doubt whether the wind will carry it. Trust is built into the natural world, and Buddhism reminds us that we are not separate from that flow. We are part of life happening in real time. When we fight it, we suffer. When we trust, we open. You have probably felt it. Moments when everything was uncertain, yet you were calm. Maybe during a crisis, a big change, or simply when you said, I do not know what will happen, but I will deal with it when it does. That is trust. That is the art of letting go. In those moments, we feel most alive. To reach this, we must confront old habits. We must unlearn the belief that worrying means we care. Planning everything means we are responsible, or control means strength. The Buddha did not teach us to run from life. He taught us to embrace it as it is, with its chaos, beauty, and unpredictability. He taught that everything is impermanent. When we truly understand this, we begin to hold things more lightly. Peace does not come from certainty. It comes from presence and surrender. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means giving in, not to defeat, but to wisdom. It's doing your best without destroying your inner peace, trying to control what cannot be controlled. It's recognizing that life is bigger than you, and that is not frightening. It is beautiful. When we stop trying to manage the universe, we become participants in it. We trust that we are carried, even when we cannot see the way. True freedom lies in releasing the illusion of control, not once, but repeatedly, every day, every breath. Every time fear tells us, you are not safe unless you control everything, and we respond, no, I choose to trust instead. Trust in the unfolding. Trust that what is meant for us will find us. Trust that we will know what to do when the time comes, and if we do not, trust that not knowing is part of the path. This kind of trust is not passive, it is alive. It moves us to act when action is needed, and to rest when rest is right. It's about alignment, listening to our body, our breath, and our intuition. It's learning to let go, not because we give up, but because we wake up. Start small. Notice when you are trying to control. Notice the tension in your body, the tightness in your thoughts. Pause. Breathe. Ask, what am I afraid will happen if I let go just a little? Then let go a little and see what happens. Maybe the world does not fall apart. Maybe something beautiful happens. Maybe you feel lighter, freer, more open.
With time, letting go is not the end. It is the beginning. The beginning of a new relationship with life, one based not on fear, but on trust. One that says, whatever comes, I can meet it, not with panic, but with presence, not with resistance, but with grace. The Buddhist path invites us to stop clinging, start trusting, let life be life, and let ourselves be free. Worry does not protect us. It only disconnects us from the only reality, this moment. Here, there is peace, breath, and life. The path is not about escaping the world. It is about waking up to it with clarity, compassion, and trust. If this reflection resonates with you, if it has made you pause and think differently, you are already on the path. Keep walking it. Engage with these teachings and allow them to guide you toward presence, trust, and freedom.
Subscribe and awaken your mind with Wisdom Kingdom.